2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Windsor Gardens or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
The one and only, our friend, our good friend, Maggie Dent joins us now. Season 2 of her podcast, The Good Enough Dad, is launching. Good morning, Maggie.
Morning, Maggie.
Hello. It's so good to talk to you.
Maggie.
Yes, I am super excited, guys. And I hear I'm going to chat to someone called Ross, who's a dad.
That someone is me.
Yes.
Ross, when he hears about a podcast called The Good Enough Dad, he went, oh, yeah, no, that's what I aspire to be.
Couple of questions.
He says a couple of questions, Maggie. So he came in and said, Bella, which is his beautiful wife, has written a list of questions for you to address about the 5 and the 2-year-old. So, Ross, take it away.
Ollie 5, Archie 2. I'll start with my questions first before I get to the wife's ones. So I had a conversation with my son, Ollie, because he has plenty of tantrums. Let me play you just a little bit of that conversation that I recorded here.
You know when you get really upset and you fall on the ground, say at the shops crying that we won't give you chocolate or something? What can I do to help you?
Make me laugh. Do something silly.
Okay, so he wants me to make him laugh, do something silly. And I know you've got a podcast episode specifically on this, on tantrums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How do you, when they're on the floor in the supermarket, losing it, and you try and talk to them and it makes them worse, what do you do during a child tantrum that can actually help?
All right. So, God, that's really insightful because he's actually right on the money. Okay, so what happens when they've flipped their lid, right, which means they have no access to listening, reasoning, anything? They've flipped it, right? They're flooded completely. And the way they get rid of all the flooding of cortisol, which feels really crappy in the body, is kicking, screaming, and whatever. And we all want to do that when we've flipped our lid as well. So let's be honest. So in that moment, our number one job is to keep them safe so they don't kick all the stuff over in the supermarket and they don't run out in the car park, which is also what one of mine did once. So bottom line is we've got to keep them safe, but talking to them is a waste of time.
Yeah, okay.
But what he's just saying there, if you can catch him just before, like, he's asked for something, the Becky before dinner, the toy, the whatever, and we're going to say, yeah, no, mate, no, not today. We're not doing that. And bottom line is he's going to escalate. So then they come in again with another argument. That's when, if you go a bit stupid and stomp your feet and look like you're having a tanty, or you fart. If
I was going to say fart noise. Fart noise goes a long way, doesn't it?
Or just turn into a dinosaur. You could probably get him through that one.
Yes,
because
farting dinosaur.
You've created something that, But when we argue, oh, man, it's just, it's like throwing petrol on a fire, especially at 5.
That's helpful. So get in before you know it's going to happen.
Get in before it's completely
because there are signs, right? You know what, you can see it coming.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But once he does it, do you just wait it out calmly?
Yes, you do. You can't. Now, once again, it's the same sort of thing. There are times absolutely okay to scoop them up with great love and take them out to the car. But what you're doing is you're not stomping out there screaming in their face while you do it. Hey, mate, come on, I'm going to take you because sometimes it's actually safer to remove them. But most of the time we sit in, I often say, why don't you look around at people looking at you with the... And you go, no, just discharging cortisol from his brain. Lots of cortisol coming out of the brain. Very soon it'll be, oh, that was good. That was a good discharge. Yeah. Eventually he'll come down to calm, and that's when they're ready for us to soothe them. And it's so frustrating, let's be honest. And so
but everybody's been there.
Normal. Developmentally normal.
Yeah. What about if the rest of the family who are there start singing the Ollie's throwing a tantrum song and do a dance? Would that work?
Yes, absolutely. If you get in early enough and look ridiculous enough, it will work as well. It's when people come in serious, it actually makes everything worse, and that's going back to the old stuff. But I love it. What's next? Come on, Ross, throw another one.
I think Shawnee's got one here. Go on, Shawnee.
Well,
Hello, mate.
I'll jump in. I'll jump in, Maggie, because I was just talking to the guys off air. I've been away, and once I get home, when we left the house was clean. My wife Megan had it clean to an inch of its life, and she expects that when we come back. But I know my 17-year-old son's at home. When you tell him to do stuff, he nods and grunts, and then that's it. And I suspect when we get home, all hell's going to break loose because he wouldn't have done the things he's been told to. Is it just a thing that it's an age factor?
Look, it's an interesting thing around our boys because they're not as wired to see the value of tidiness as most girls.
No.
Right?
That's such a polite way to put it.
And in the moment, like what is happening they're very good at what's happening in the moment. They're not very good. It's not why they leave the milk out on the bench or put an empty one back in the fridge. They're just not. It's the single focus of the male brain. So my challenge would be I'd be sending a few texts saying, mate, you know what Mum does? Make sure you put just give him a few gentle reminders. Oh, I can't wait till we catch up. I bought you something in Bali. Just a few things that it's about connection and then correction, the same as that age. But we don't let them get away with it too much. But the same thing is that I think we need to know that the 17-year-old brain is still a long way of having the cognitive capacity to go, oh, wow, that looks like it needs doing. I'll sweep the floor and they're a long way from there. And that we need to love them and tell them that your brain's going to get a lot.
Like if the house isn't on fire, he's doing well.
Yeah.
It is amazing, Maggie, that you talk about the fact that when they get to a certain age and they take out a drink, and Ross, your kids still obviously do this now, I know, but the boys, they put stuff out and they never put it back in. They use
the bench either.
No, never. Never happens.
I always knew when one of my nieces was there because, the toaster and the crumbs and smuck around there, when it was cleaned up, I nearly have a heart attack.
Yeah.
And when I asked, can't you wipe that? And they go, Mum, what's the point? Well, I'm going to come out in an hour and have it again. Why would I clean it up in between? And I look at the pragmatism of that and go, and that's actually quite a good point.
Yeah, well done.
So sometimes I've got to look, there's a pragmatism sometimes in the male that's not, we've oversold to mums that they need to be really tidy or they're a lousy mum. Yeah. But can we just chat for a little bit about the fact that I was nearly going to get sacked by my two sons, because my four sons, because I didn't have a surfer that I'd interviewed on the show, on the podcast, and a footballer. No joke. They were going to sack me as their mother because I've done all these other people, and even famous people. They're not interested. They just wanted. So this season, I'm nailing it.
Yeah, so
I'm nailing it.
Who have you got?
Who we got?
Well, I've got this really, really famous guy in WA who's really good around footy, so I reckon that's all right. And he happens to be a part of the team. So, Shawnee, thank you so much.
Shawnee Mac.
Maggie, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it.
But I thought it was called the Good Enough Dad.
Oh.
Yeah, he is.
What are you going to talk to Shawnee about?
He's been asking questions for me for like 14 years, so I reckon it's about time he did something for me.
Thank you, Maggie.
And I think it's one of the things that's come up, and I mean, God, it's the best thing I think I've done. It's so much easier than writing books. I've chatted to Jamie Jury, I've chatted to Guy Sebastian and Dr. Billy Garvey, and I mean, these are really nice guys to talk to, and it's just super awesome when they just that guard, and then it lets every other dad listening know that, we're just making up as we go along, really, and we do really good some days and really crap other days. And that's actually okay.
Listening to it, you're gonna hear things that you're gonna pick up on as well. And on that one, you got one of the episodes. This is my final question for you. It's about. Sorry,
it's not. It's got a list.
We'll be talking. Don't worry. So the 5-year-old. I know there's a True Grit episode in your podcast, Good Enough Dad podcast, but how can I teach my son to be a good loser? Because when he loses, it's just total meltdown. I try and beat him once every now and then, and it is just chaos.
No, you've got to do some intensive training in that area at the moment. So what you've got to do, there's a few things. We used to play noughts and crosses a lot. Right, which is a simple old game. It's not a digital game because you lose a lot quite rapidly. And so there's a really good game out there at the moment that's great for this age group because I've been training one of my grandsons who was the same. It's called Spot It. And it's and you have to pick out some things on these simple card things. And what we do is when he loses and he's about to escalate, because he really wants to win. He's a bit of what I call a rooster boy. And winning is like if we can't help them deal with disappointment early, and you know how angry I am about the people who change the rules to pass the parcels.
Yes.
The whole thing is under 5. Under 5, you're supposed to have experiences of not getting what you want.
Yes.
And losing. So in Spot It, we go, okay, so he's lost and he's about to, I go, okay, ready, next game, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, straight into the next game.
Mm-hmm.
And then over time, then he gradually gets used to it. Oh, okay, I lost and now there's another game.
Yep.
And that's the thing we want him to do. So you actually do need to do some specific hands-on in the space. You might also throw a little tanty and demonstrate how bad it feels to lose, and then he'll look at you going, oh, that's a bit silly.
Yeah, I can do that.
So can you see? But you actually have to help him with that, because otherwise he's going to get to Napland.
Yep.
Yes.
And he's not going to handle that.
All right, Maggie, I've got notes.
Very good.
Yeah, as I said, I now can see your number on screen as well, so that could be bad for you.
You are going to have to block Ross's number, Maggie. The Good Enough Dad podcast, Season 2, featuring
Thanks,
S.
guys.
McManus. Maggie,
you.
it's always a pleasure. We'll catch up again soon.
Thanks,
Love
Maggie.
you all. Take care. Bye.
The beautiful Maggie Dent.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Windsor Gardens or download the Revo Fitness app, revofitness.com.au, or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.